Hello, everybody. Welcome to 2026's first episode of the Nuff podcast with your guys. I'm Zan,
I'm Oli.
and we got a great episode for you guys today. We're going to be talking about Star Wars. We got some crazy Star Wars news. I know the geeks and gamers crowd and Star Wars theories of the world are very happy about the news that Kathleen Kennedy is no longer going to be the president of Lucasfilm. We also want to kind of talk about briefly about Batman Part 2, and then we're going to kind of talk majority of the show today and finish off with Avengers Doomsday, how to watch the MCU for rewatch the MCU, for Doomsday, and then kind of going into our top 5 films of the year. But before we get to that, Ollie, how you been, man? It's been a while. How you been, bro?
I've been good. Yeah, it's been quite. I think what was it? September, October, our last episode, maybe
Mm-hmm.
even earlier than
Mm-hmm.
that. So yeah, I've been good. I went on my honeymoon over Christmas, finally,
Nice.
which
Where'd you
was
guys go?
amazing. We went to Wells, which is in Somerset in the south of England, and it's where we got engaged. And the reason we went there is Nicole's favourite movie is Hot Fuzz, and that's where they filmed the movie Hot Fuzz. So,
Oh.
yeah, it's a pretty cool place, and got to see the filming locations and stuff like that. So yeah, that just been doing the usual, going the cinema. I've got really into baseball recently. That's a new thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
big Shohei Ohtani fan.
Yeah,
Um,
you need to be a Guardians fan, Cleveland. But yeah, Shohei Ohtani is definitely
um,
definitely a superstar, bro. Yeah, for sure. Um,
One sec before we carry on, I do have a bit of baseball memorabilia here, which I think people who listen to us are nerds and collectors, and this is a bit of a collectible which has been in my family for many years. It's a used baseball from, you can see there, when the Minnesota Twins beat the Boston Red Sox 5-0, 6th of May 1988. Frank Viola was the winning pitcher. My dad was at that game, and he was friends with the third base coach. And after the game, his mate brought the ball over to him and was like, "Oh, I can get the whole team to sign it if you want." And my dad was like, "Oh no, I don't want any of their signatures. I just want your signature." So it's just my dad's friend's signature is the only one on the ball.
oh,
But
that's awesome.
match used baseball from 1988. So yeah, that's something I've got really into recently because my dad took me to a few games, and now he's gone. It's helped me to stay connected to him and that. So
Mm.
yeah, that's something that's changed since last time we recorded. I'm a big baseball fan, big Dodgers fan now. What about you? What have you been up to?
Well, I no longer live where I was living. So I live like in the heart of downtown Cleveland, and I would show everybody the view. But I have a big bay window, and I can kind of see the whole city from here. I would show it, but wires and everything, and it'll mess up our whole
Don't
episode.
mess up the
Yeah,
setups.
yeah. I don't work with autistic children anymore. I completely left the field. No disrespect or anything. It was just unfortunately, especially in America and a lot of like healthcare, health providing fields, unless you're a doctor or a nurse, you're not going to be compensated what really you should be getting. Um, and I just felt like it was time for me to go. It wasn't like a drama situation. I'm not gonna make it like a hospital PD episode where it's like I can't take this anymore. It really wasn't like that. It was just more of like I feel like I was kind of getting burnt out a little bit because a lot of these children they have a lot of needs, right? And there might be some I'll use some like autism jargon. There might be like some aggression, which is when they'll like not all of them, but the kids who I was working with, there was aggression concerns. Some of the kids had eloping concerns, which if people don't know what that is, it means when you run away. But if you run away and you're really fast, we don't have eyes on you. Now it's like a hazard. Where are you? And if we're trying to go on a field trip and we're crossing a road, something as crossing the street could be legitimately dangerous. So I felt like I don't know. You already know I've been in the corporate writing field, copywriting and stuff like that. I kind of wanted to get back to that, and so for that reason, I kind of left. But I don't have any ill will or anything. towards my last job. I just felt like it was time, and hopefully, if you guys help us out here, hopefully this can be our full time job. But
Oh, that would be the dream.
yeah. So share, and subscribe. We're gonna be uploading as frequently as we possibly can in the next year. That actually is my 2026
Mm,
resolution, is to
yeah,
be consistent with it, because admittedly I am not. So we're gonna change that. We're gonna
and
change that.
we're gonna get more into how that's gonna look like when we go into the Avengers chat, because we've got some big plans for uh, in the build up to Doomsday.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be really real fun, man. Especially you're watching all those movies, and especially the Phase One movies. I'm excited to do that, but
Mm.
you'll talk all over that in a bit. Let's get to it, bro.
Yes,
Let's get to
let's get into it.
the biggest news so far. I would argue this weekend. Kathleen Kennedy is out. She's no longer the president, or the head, excuse me, of Lucasfilm. She is no longer going to be in charge of anything creative. It's first of all, let me say,
The day's finally here.
yeah. Like, after years and years and years of all the clickbait YouTubers saying she's fired, she's out of here, she's out of here, she's out of here, all 100 hours later or 100 years later, it's finally here. And,
Yeah.
uh, I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that, bro. I have my thoughts on it as well, but we kind of have a bit different of opinions of Kathleen Kennedy and her tenure as under Lucasfilm. What have you thought about it overall? First of all, before that, how long has she actually been in charge now?
Oh, that's. I think since Disney bought Lucasfilm, so
2011.
nearly 2012, I think it was. So nearly 14 years.
Okay.
Um, I think it's been sort of overall the general consensus is going to be it was a failure. But I've said this before on this podcast. I don't think it's entirely her fault. She's still one of the great like film producers. Like she, worked on the Indiana Jones films, and she's got some great films like to her name as a producer. But when Disney bought Lucasfilm, their main aim was let's crank out a new Star Wars trilogy as fast as we can. And as I said last time we did a Star Wars episode, nearly 3 years ago now,
Yeah, it's been a
um,
while.
I think that was the wrong decision because it was doomed from the start. So they bought Lucasfilm in 2012. The first film came out late 2015, so about 3 years after they bought it. That's not enough time to come up with a plan for an entire trilogy. And as we know, they didn't even have a plan for the third film as they were shooting it.
Hmm.
Um, so people could say, "Oh well, she was in charge; she could have controlled that." That might be true, but also when Disney bought the studio, that would have been their plan, and even if someone else was in charge, it would have happened anyway. Um, but then the actual films that have come out have been pretty bad overall.
Yeah.
Um, Rogue One, fantastic. Force Awakens, even though it's a bit of a reskin of A New Hope, still a great movie. But then the fact they didn't have a cohesive plan for the whole trilogy
Mm.
messed. And I've always had a better opinion of her than a lot of people have. But the exit interview that she did with, I think it was with Deadline, has lowered my estimation of her really because she talks about working with AI and stuff like that,
Mm.
which is a bit disappointing. And she said she's got a bit of beef with Ryan Johnson now, who, even though I'm not a biggest fan of The Last Jedi, I love Ryan Johnson. Like she said something about, oh, he was scared of the online trolls or something, and he was like, no, no, I wasn't.
Mm. I
Um, so yeah, that's my thoughts on her. I think she has been treated a bit too harshly, but there is reason to criticise her. But I do think maybe some of it is a bit too far. What do
mhm.
you think?
I mean, 100%. At the end of the day, she's making movies about Star and its characters that we love. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, she's making movies about space wizards. So like when people are making YouTube clips of burning her face and everything, like you're doing too much, you know.
Yeah,
How
it's not that serious, is it?
but I do think that a lot of Star Wars discourse has kind of become either you are a sequel truther or you're a sequel hater, and you can hate the sequels and still completely have nothing in common with like the alt right pipeline of Star Wars, if that makes sense. And that's kind of where I fit in. I don't hate the sequels because oh they're push women, oh this and the third. I hate the sequels because they're half cooked, bro. You ever been to a restaurant
Yeah.
and the food looks good and you eat it and it's cold? That's what the sequel trilogy feels like, especially like okay, so her tenure overall, it was a failure. It shouldn't have been a failure. It was a failure because before her, Star Wars was a movie event. You look at the Avatar movies; they're events.
Yeah.
You understand, and James Cameron has made it a point outside of a select comic book issues here and there, outside of the Pandora game on PlayStation, which is actually really good to play, especially when they added the third person mode. It's definitely check it out. It's
Mm.
really fun to play. For the most part, Avatar is very, very exclusive. Like you're only going to get what he gives you, which is either the movies or his interviews. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Um, with Star Wars, they kind of diluted the brand way too much. Force Awakens, I really loved. I thought that was really, really good. I know people said that was a rehash. I wasn't around in 1977 when the movie first came out. No disrespect, I wasn't around. And when I did watch it, it was because my first Star Wars movies, as were yours, were probably the prequels. So going from
I love the prequels.
action adventure lightsabers to like you only got 5 minutes of super slow mo. Like as a kid, that toyetic element, I was like, what is this? You understand? So when people say, oh, like they're a rehash of the originals, I think it was an update. I thought it was an update, and I thought it kept what the original heart of the story of the original sequels was true to that. I really liked it. But here's my hot take, and one of my best friends over here, Dame, is not going to agree. Sorry, buddy. Um, the Last Jedi killed Star Wars. It did. There is just so much, and I've tried so hard. Like the Last Jedi is like like that one toxic relationship, like you're just in and you're out and you're in and you're out and you're given a chance and then you're out and you're in. That's the Last Jedi for me. I have to admit it. I can't get around this movie. I've tried really hard, and I
Mm.
will give the Last Jedi credit because it was the last Star Wars movie that tried to do something different, like in terms of breaking the mythos and everything like that. Let me quickly go over it. What I liked about the Last Jedi, I really loved the fact that Luke was broken. He went from like Superman to like grizzly Batman type of dark vibe. I did not like how that happened. I'll get over that real quickly, but just the difference in character shift after so many years to have in the teaser trailer. The Last Jedi had the best trailers, by the way. Those were
Oh yeah.
cinema, cinema. To have Luke going like, I have to restore the Jedi Order to now the Jedi must end. I thought it was a very ballsy decision to actually go through with that. Like, I really hated how the movie did a fake out of the Jedi have to end. Not really, they're back. Like, I thought it would be more profound if the Jedi did end right there and then, and something new came about of it, and now you're truly pushing the franchise forward. But I hated Luke. People defend it. People defend it. In my humble opinion, I do think it's coping. I don't buy it. I don't buy the same man who was gonna kill Darth Vader. I'm sorry, I cannot buy the man who saved Darth Vader when he was freaking space Hitler. To now, I'm gonna contemplate killing my nephew to the point where I like actually turn on the lightsaber. That's like, oh, I have a feeling this child is a school shooter, so I'm gonna aim my Glock at him. Like that
Mm.
it I just can't get around to that. And maybe I would have bought it more if we did get vibes where there was something legitimately wrong with Kylo Ren. Anakin, a lot of bad stuff happened to him. You understand? And then it was
Yeah.
a point where he understood like the Jedi system was so corrupt and so useless, and it just was built on literally the bones of a Sith, like the Sith force field, right? Like the dark side energy. Coruscant was literally built on Sith ground. So it was a metaphor of like rotting from the inside, and Anakin saw it, was telling people what was to come, what was to come. The Jedi are flawed. The Jedi don't trust me. They're literally warmongers. Why would I side with them? All of those were right. And then he made the choice to save his wife. And then he went super Nazi about it, which again, and we can make another episode about whether Darth Vader should have been redeemed. My hot take was no, he should have not been redeemed. And The Last Jedi should have gone into that. I think the reason why
Yeah.
Luke should have been discouraged and kind of done with the Jedi Order is when he actually discovers years after what Anakin actually did and how the Jedi actually practiced the Force and how they actually created Jedi. Maybe have Luke discover how the Jedi were going to, court martial and, execute Ahsoka Tano. Only for
Mm.
Mace Windu to say, sorry, my bad. That's literally what he said. Like, and then, oh, the Force challenges you. That's such a toxic way to say, by the way, for Mace Windu to say, the Force challenges you rather than saying, I am sorry. Like, that
Yeah.
just shows you understand. So maybe Luke over years after redeeming his father does research and then he realizes, oh my god, what if I was wrong? What if I was hasty? And
This
what,
see,
you
this
know
is my one of my biggest problems with the trilogy is all the most interesting things like this didn't happen in the films.
no, they were one-off comic book issues that were half
Mm.
written, no disrespect. Exactly, bro. And then like for Luke, so maybe Luke discovers, oh, the only reason the galaxy was saved is because that was my father and he wasn't trying to kill his son. Nothing to do with the Jedi and their beliefs at all. It was just personal.
Mm.
Imagine how that would break you to go from
Yeah.
like Jedi, the light side of the Force, only to realize that actually had none of what it had nothing to do with what was going on in that throne room between Palpatine, Vader, and me. It was all just straight up. He finally didn't want to keep hurting family members. He choked up my mama. He doesn't want to choke me out. Like that's what happened. So it was all personal. So for to have Luke go on this quest to rebuild the Jedi Order, only to keep discovering and discovering and discovering there were so many flaws, then to discover systemically at a systemic level the Jedi Order and the light side of the Force practice, how they practice it, had absolutely nothing to do with Vader turning or returning to the light. It was just, that is my son. That would break your
Mm.
that would break anybody's beliefs, right? Now
Yeah.
throw in Kylo. So maybe that's why he's disillusioned, because he realized I was hasty and I forgave my dad and absolved him of war crimes. He actually did stuff that I did not know. I did not know he went into Coruscant and wiped out all those kids before I had that conversation with them in Return of the Jedi. Maybe have a scene where Luke, WhatsApp spirit voice calls his father, has Hayden Christensen. Like, I don't know why he wasn't in those films. Such a massive wasted opportunity. And have him talk to his dad. Yo, did you do this? And you seriously believe you should be at the light side of the Force? You tortured Leia? Are
Yeah.
you serious? You blew up her planet. Are you kidding me? You're responsible for murdering Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru too, by the way. Like, Vader got away. So I think The Last Jedi and the sequel trilogy should have dove all the way into the fact of, should Vader have been redeemed, right?
Yeah.
And then have Luke be disillusioned with that. Now you throw in Kylo Ren and have Kylo a little weird. Like, ever since he was a kid, like he's picking up, insects with the Force and like picking apart their, like, not to be grotesque, but picking apart their like legs and stuff like that. Like how
Being
like
very Sid from Toy Story.
yeah, exactly, and have it like a twist on it. Like, Anakin was a good kid where bad stuff happened to him and he was broken, but Ben Solo was a kid with all the best stuff in the world for him, but he's still weird. Like, he's still
Yeah.
like, oh, like maybe there's a girl, like a Jedi girl, who's like, hey, do you want to spar with me? She's like, no, I'm gonna spar with the other kid, and he gets mad and like twists her ankle or something like that with the Force. Like, have been weird like
Mm.
that. So then now this challenges Luke's worldview, right? He's like, all bad stuff happened to my father, so he did what I did. So he did what he did, excuse me. And I shouldn't have forgave him for that, maybe, arguably. But you had a loving mom, a loving dad. You have me. Nothing bad is happening to you. Why do you keep doing this weird stuff? And now Ben kind of feels like, what? Like, why are you coming at me like that? Like, make it to where Anakin, like, make it a sad story of Anakin could have been saved but the system let him down. But have the opposite be like Ben Solo had the entire system at his disposal, but he still threw it away. He chose to be evil. So then, when he does turn on Snoke, this is the stuff I like about The Last Jedi. When he
Mm.
does turn on Snoke, and he kills him, and that was an awesome, scene, by the way. I don't care about the people who picked the fight choreography apart and said, actually, the knife should have been here. I don't care. You're lame. Like, that was a cool scene, him and Ray teaming up. And then Ben goes like, join me. And Ray says yes. She should have joined him. So then, when John Boyega's character goes to Luke on Octo, and this version Luke doesn't die from doing the Force, which is a lame way of killing him. When John Boyega goes to him and is like, "Hey, I need to be trained," Ray just turned, and now Kylo, you tried to make him not evil Vader. Now he's way worse because he's choosing to do it. And ever since there was a kid, there was something wrong with him. Now Luke retrains him in the ways of the Force, but not the Jedi, because the Jedi have to end. So now Luke has learned the issues of the Jedi in the prequel era. He tried to do it again because he believed in the good in his father, only to realize it blew up in his face because he didn't realize all of his father what he did. He tried to raise Kylo and Rey in that. It didn't work. Now this is Luke's moment to realize I have been upholding a millennia old practice which is failing. It's time to do something new. So now you got John Boyega leading the third movie under the new revised New Jedi Order. And now you're
Mm.
satiating everybody's like issues with the trilogy. I just think that's what it is. Star Wars is a very deep philosophical story, and the trilogy did not do any of that. Last Jedi tried to, but I just do not buy Luke saved his father, but then was going to consider killing Kylo Ren. I just don't that's not the same guy. And even after being disillusioned with Vader after all he learned in my version, that still wouldn't necessitate turning on a lightsaber and nearly Wolverining him. Like I just
Yeah.
don't buy that. And then the rise of Skywalker, it was a whole lot of nothing, bro. Any sort of movie could have been better than that. Any sort of movie could have been better than that. It was a whole lot of nothing. I just
I know we've talked about it before, but we still need to do a full episode just delving into the Duel of the Fate script.
mm,
They had all the concept art for and everything, and then they just decided to go with what J.J. Abrams did instead.
I don't. Oh, and there's another issue with Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars movies. The fight sequences were terrible. Outs,
So bad.
out
There's
outside
not a
of
single memorable. Well, there's memorable lightsaber fights, but not for the good reasons. There's no lightsaber fights that stand out in the memory as being like that was a really good lightsaber battle.
there's only two. I really loved Finn and Kylo's in The Force Awakens. That was actually good. I really liked that one. And then the Snoke room, the Snoke throne room in The Last Jedi. That was good. I'd
That was cool, but it's not like two lightsaber users fighting each other, is it?
No, it was the first time you see in movie Jedi and Sith team up, but they
Yeah.
kind of half did it. Like, and again, I really love I like The Last Jedi really could have pushed it further when they said let the past die. No more. It's just King Kylo. I'm doing my own thing
Mm.
now. And you destroy all the old artifacts and all the old knowledge, and just completely, you know how Killmonger went in Wakanda and burned it all down. If they did that with Kylo here, then you potentially get rid of all of the knowledge of the old legends and old monsters, so that when they come up in a future movie, Kylo's in a situation where it's like, I don't know. When I said let the past die, I meant it literally, but oh no, now I don't know where the knowledge is to fight these guys. The Yuuzhan Vong would have been the perfect villain for the sequel trilogy, bro. They would have been. Imagine if Kylo let it all burn, let the past die, and then they return in the third movie, and Kylo's like, I don't know how to fight them. Nobody knows how to fight them. Like, I,
Yeah, they haven't
I,
been seen in like, generations.
yeah, there's just those movies were created like homework assignments. They weren't created like experiences. You could tell when you watch
They were
Avatar.
created to to make billions of dollars at the box office and not to actually create a good story. If they did want to make a good trilogy, they would have got the same director for all three films. I think if Ryan Johnson had done all three, because like we like the ideas that of the Last Jedi, what's trying to do, but it's too much because it's just one film, and he's trying to do too much in one film. And he doesn't have time to really flesh out those ideas. But
Hmm.
if he had done the full trilogy, I guarantee it would have been more of a success than say J.J. Abrams if he had done the full trilogy.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And if you maybe had given Ryan Johnson the full scope to do all three movies, and maybe you could go around to buying his story decisions. I still Luke Skywalker is like Superman to me. The concept of the most pure and lighthearted and genuinely positive force of good in the galaxy, coming from one of the most evil and broken men, is an inspiring story. I just don't know why. I just don't know why Ryan made the decisions that he did. But credit
Which is,
to him.
but
He
if
hasn't.
but which is why he needed more time and more films.
Maybe, but they need better choreography. They need better fighting. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I just don't. I could maybe buy it. I could maybe buy it because it's like Luke is trying to rebuild the Jedi Order. A lot of the Jedi arts have been wiped out, so you won't be able to maneuver the lightsaber with the same technique as you could now, like, or in the past. Like, maybe I could buy that, but with this new, like, I don't know if the new, like, that was kind of like our biggest issues with the Star Wars trilogy is it was half baked, potential ideas, not great execution. They completely fumbled the bag with John Boyega's film, and under
Oh yeah.
or John Boyega's arc in the films, excuse me. And under Kathleen Kennedy, we were supposed to be getting the search or return of Ben Solo, search for Ben Solo,
Mm-hmm.
rise of Ben Solo, the Ben Solo movie, talking about
Hunt for Ben Solo, I think it was.
Hunt for Ben Solo. That was supposed to
I think
happen
it
where
was.
Kylo Ren is coming back, which I don't care how he comes
Yeah.
back. Just have him come back. Star Wars hasn't had a star, bro.
Oh.
Like Star Wars hasn't had like a lead. Like Daisy Ridley is good, but Adam Driver carried. Like as much as I hate The Last
Mm.
Jedi, I still watch it because Adam Driver is great in the movie. The same way I
Yeah,
will
he's good.
still watch Batman vs Superman because Ben Affleck was great in the movie. Like you know, I just so I want to see Ben Solo come back somehow, some way. I don't care if it makes sense. Just have him come back. Star Wars is already in such bad writing. That's another issue. The writing in these movies have been terrible. So
Mm-hmm.
we're not used to bad writing in Star Wars anymore. So just create something to have him back, and now create something good with it.
Well,
That
that movie could still happen because when we first got the news about it, it sounded like it was completely dead. But Kathleen Kennedy, in sort of that exit interview that she did, she said like it's still a possibility if like the studio's willing to take a risk on it. So fingers crossed, Dave Filoni in charge of the creative side. 'Cause we haven't touched on this, but replacing her is not just Dave Filoni, but it's what's her name? Linwen Brennan. So Dave Filoni will be focusing on the creative, the storytelling, and Brennan will be like the business side of things. And I think that might be another reason why Kathleen Kennedy failed is because she was doing both, which is a lot on your plate, but also a lot of pressure as well.
yeah.
So Dave Filoni can do what he wants creatively without the pressure of. Well, he also doesn't really have the experience to manage the business side, but he can do all the creative stuff without having to worry about the business side of things. Someone else is taking care of that, which I think is definitely the right way to go.
I mean
Hopefully,
that
will save Star Wars.
that's what the DCU is doing right now. James Gunn
Exactly.
creative, Peter Safran. Like, I just think Star Wars needs organization. They need
Mm-hmm.
organization
100%.
100%. They need to go back to the drawing board and they need to talk about how do we just make Star Wars movies feel special again, bro. The
Mm-hmm.
Superman movie came out, it felt like the old classic Superman movies. Like what were we saying?
Mm-hmm.
A good Superman movie is good for the world. Star Wars movies need to have the best cinematography. They need to have the best special effects. That you need to feel like it's an event. It means something. When the screen goes dark, you have those 3 minutes of pause, and then da 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 da, da. Like like it should mean something. Like the
Yeah.
Avatar movies, they mean something. Like anytime there's an Avengers movie now, not an MCU movie, but an Avengers movie, it means something. Like the Star Wars movies,
And
they need to feel
that's
like
such a good
massive in
point
gravity.
because like the original trilogy, it's this tyrannical empire in charge of like the galaxy, and then the prequels, it's like this. There's a lot of parallels with certain wars that have been going on, but like this war that's being controlled by one person who's controlling both sides. It's a futile war, and these people are going to war and dying for no reason whatsoever. And the sequels is just not. Why is all this happening?
Yeah, it's Fortnite. The sequel movies are Fortnite. There's just a bunch of Star Wars stuff in there. Boom, have fun enjoying
Yeah.
the world. Like the original trilogy was designed to have fun too, but there was an overall arc to it. You can clearly tell Ryan Johnson's plans did kind of scare the studio. The fan reaction, like, bro, I remember coming out of The Last Jedi. I was like, what the hell is this shit? I'm not gonna lie to you. And that was before I was on like YouTube looking at other people's opinions. That was me as a fan reading the Timothy Zahn Star Wars novels, having an understanding of who Luke Skywalker is, going into the movie, coming out feeling severely underwhelmed. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like
Mm.
what? To me, like The Last Jedi is like Amazing Spider-Man 2. To me, The Last Jedi is like Batman versus Superman, extended cut or regular cut. They're still terrible cuts. Like that's what I feel about The Last Jedi. But you can watch clips on YouTube and still have fun with it. That but like I don't know.
Yeah,
I just felt, and especially when the opening of The Last Jedi was so good, like the space bomber scene, you really got a vibe of what's
that was
going on.
cool.
And
Yeah,
then like the Star Destroyer scene where like the purple haired lady kind of goes like that, boom, and the like.
that is the coolest visual in Star Wars.
Mhm.
Like just being in the cinema for that as well when it goes completely silent and then it cuts through. It's so good.
Star Wars needs to get like a Dune treatment. Like the people who made Dune, the people who made Avatar, they need to get those people and recreate this feeling of Star Wars, because Star Wars feels like churned now. Star Wars feels very fast
Yeah,
foody. It feels very like whatever. They need to get somebody in there who knows Star Wars and understands how to make it like a cinematic experience. But my biggest issue with Dave Filoni kind of being in charge is his characters are cool, like Ahsoka and the Mandoverse films, everything. Like he understands like Star Wars. But when I saw, and I know like we kind of disagree on this, when I saw that he wasn't the biggest fan of Andor, I was like,
yeah.
I don't know, because Andor and Rogue One are the best thing, and the Jedi Survivor games, which rumor we got Jedi Survivor 3 maybe coming out this year. I saw a bunch of that
Oh,
online.
okay.
Yeah. Jedi Survivor games, incredible. I love those games. But
I've got to admit, I still haven't seen season 2 of Andor. I've been meaning to get around to it, but I loved season 1, but I haven't watched season 2 yet.
a lot more Americans need to watch season 2 of Andor, and that'll explain our political climate here right now. I'll tell you that. Like Andor is incredible. It's the best Star Wars. I always said Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie, and I'm a big sucker for lightsabers and stuff like that. But just in terms of vibe, energy, acting,
Yeah.
just you really like, bro. I never really had a fear of death and not existing, and then I watched Rogue One, and then I was like, "Oh my god, we're gonna die!" Like I don't know. It just like the feeling of death was so pervasive in that movie. It was so well done, and in Andor too. Like there's a line in Andor when they're talking about like politicians don't even lie creatively to the public anymore, and I think that's the last greatest insult they have for us. Like that was like a line.
Yeah.
Andor is so good. I just the level of Andor is highly sophisticated and it's highly intelligent and it's highly slick, and a lot of the sci-fi Star Wars elements are kind of toned down. That is not something I could see Dave Filoni doing for a major project, which I think he should. I think you can balance that. You can balance it a bit, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But
But
but don't forget, Andor has bricks and screws.
listen, like I can't believe that was a criticism. I can't believe that was a criticism of the of
It's
some people
ridiculous.
will yeah, some people will go over heads and heels to hate. But I just think like going forward, like Star Wars under Dave Filoni, they need to sit down. They need to have a plan. What are we doing with Rey? What are
Yeah.
we doing with Finn? What are we doing with Kylo Ren? Because he has to come back. Kylo Ren has to come back,
I want to see that film so bad.
and that should be Episode 10. That's my
Hmm.
opinion. It shouldn't be Star Wars. It should be Star Wars Episode 10, The Hunt for Ben Solo, and then you kind of kick off. Like I think, listen, I'm gonna keep saying it. I've been saying it for years now. Yuzan Vong would be the perfect villain for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Imagine like
Go back to our episodes in 2023. He was saying that way back then.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the Yuzon Vong, they're like alien species from outside of the galaxy, outside of the universe, the Star Wars universe. They come into the Star Wars universe because they're not made from the Force, because only stuff in the Star Wars universe is made from the Force. Pretty much, they're invincible. So people will try to Force choke, and the Yuzon Vong will be like, What are you doing?" And then they'll kill you. Like the Force does absolutely nothing. A lightsaber is like it's. I mean, you can kill them with a lightsaber, but it doesn't just cut right through them. The Force rejects them. So they're moving like Viltrumites pretty much. They're moving like superhumans. Blasters do nothing, force attacks do nothing. They start wiping out both Sith and Jedi, and a galaxy post Palpatine and everything is a mass disarray. Boom, now here's an opportunity to bring in the Yuzon Vong, an enemy who can't even be affected by the
Hmm.
Force, forcing Ben Solo to return.
Yeah,
Like there's just something that, because he's the last person of the combined Skywalker blood, and if he's still alive, the galaxy needs him. If
exactly.
is Ray has all that Palpatine blood in her, the galaxy's gonna need her. Boom. You can maybe have Grogu. Like I expect Grogu to be talking and being a Jedi at the end of his Mando and Grogu movie.
Oh,
Have
surely.
Grogu be like a Jedi Knight at this point. Like John Boyega should be like a Jedi Ronin or something like that. Like there needs to be so much cool stuff. Having them being forced to work with maybe the Sith. Like what if the Sith go to the Jedi and they're like, "Yo, we're getting wiped out. We need you." And maybe the Jedi are like, "That's not my problem." Only to
I miss the
realize,
power. That's my problem.
yeah, yeah, only for them to realize, the Yuzon Vong they're a, maybe like there could be a play on humanity where the Jedi is like, we will intervene once all the Sith are taken out, like kind of being
Mm,
political themselves, only to realize you're kind of doing the same thing Palpatine was doing because they're hurting home worlds. Like
yeah,
I don't know, there's a lot that they could do, but I just think going forward, whatever they're doing, they need to come to the table. They need to have a plan, and they cannot Manchester United. You know what I mean? Like they cannot just every 2 years
get a new
getting a new.
president.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They need to have one person in charge, who's Dave Filoni, have his vision and execute it no matter what. And if it's bad, it's bad, but at least it's consistent. And then they need to bring the gravity of Star Wars. Star Wars need to feel huge. When I was a kid, Star Wars was like a big brand. Now kids are like, what? Who cares? That's the place we go
yeah.
for Disney for. Like they need to bring that huge feeling back. Star Wars is
Oh,
not
they
in
do.
pop culture anymore, bro. Like Avatar is. Avatar is. Like Quaritch, Jake, like they're bigger characters than anything that the Star Wars, respectfully, that Star Wars has done in the last 12 years.
It's been 7 years without a Star Wars film.
It's crazy. And then when they did make the Han Solo movie, that wasn't bad, but the marketing, the advertising was terrible. So it's like they didn't
Yeah,
even
and
themselves
that
care.
movie just wasn't even though it's fine movie, it just wasn't needed.
Yeah, there's whatever they're doing. If they're focusing on Old Republic, if they're focusing whatever, just focus and get the best screenwriters, get the
Yeah,
best people possible, and start treating Star Wars like like a massive giant in the cinema universe in Hollywood. Because right now, like unfortunately, or like I'm not trying to pin it all on Kathleen Kennedy, but under Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars brand has severely been diluted and minimized, and it's sad because of this character arcs and the decisions that they've made. The Mandoverse movie that was gonna have Thrawn be the big bad, and you have Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka and everybody teaming up to take him down. That's not happening anymore. Or the
none
hunt,
of the three movies that she announced 3 years ago are happening. None of them are going to happen.
and I don't get how. It's Star Wars. And if James
Yeah,
Cameron is saying it might be tough to do Avatar 4 and 5 after every single one of his movies keep making billions, what hope does Star Wars have right now?
yeah. Well,
I
there's one thing that they might struggle with, which is a bit. This leads into the next one, next topic. But Sebastian Stan might not be able to play Luke Skywalker as some people have been hoping for because he's going to be a bit busy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to be a bit busy. Luke lost his hand, and now Sebastian Stan is going to lose half of his face because breaking news: he has been officially cast, confirmed as Harvey Dent in the Batman Part Two. Which I have a lot of questions. First of all, anything Matt Reeves does is fantastic. You understand?
Oh,
So
especially Planet of the Apes.
yeah, oh yeah, like bro. And then Batman, like Batman. I have a hot take. The Batman is the best Batman movie ever. Rest in peace to Heath Ledger. No disrespect. The Batman is the best Batman movie I have ever
Oh,
seen.
I 100% agree. So I'm just trying to get my phone charged here that I'm
No,
using for my camera.
you're good.
Um,
You're right.
I 100% agree. It's even though I love Christopher Nolan and I love the Dark Knight movies, the Batman feels the most like Batman out of any Batman film.
One
It feels
hundred.
like a comic has just been put on the screen.
I agree. And I think it just looks beautiful, but also like under Christopher Nolan's movies, Batman was kind of studied more as like an idea of how he can kind of like inspire other people. But the Batman did the same thing while also not forgetting Bruce's psyche and his own individual character. Like the mystery in the Batman was as thrilling as it was personal. Like the whole
Yeah,
reveal that Riddler was actually a fan of Batman and he's doing all this stuff because he's inspired by Batman.
yeah,
And that kind of broke Batman's mind way worse than if he had discovered Bruce was Batman, you know? Like the whole concept of, "Wait, I'm a fan for these freaks." Like, you know, like I just love that is my favorite scene in the movie where Riddler is like, "We did it together," and Batman's like, "What?" Like, I don't know, it just the Batman humanized Bruce Wayne. Like if you ever play the Arkham games,
hmm
like Batman Arkham, like Arkham Origins and Arkham Knight kind of did the best job of making Bruce feel vulnerable. But in Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, he was just kind of, "I'm Batman." And I'm not hating on those games because I love those games, but I think sometimes Batman iterations that he's kind of a soldier first and a person second. And I kind of like how in the Batman you could tell he was vulnerable. You could tell there was a human anger to him. And
yeah.
that's something like recently I just read Batman Court of Owls, and that was, it flipped Batman on its head. He thinks he knows everything about Gotham. Surprise, there's a secret cabal of rich people who are actually ruling the city who know it more than you, and that kind of breaks Batman's like confidence and psyche for a bit. I kind of like Batman stories where that Dark Knight persona is challenged, and I feel like the
Oh
Batman
yeah,
did that. So to have Sebastian Stan into the Batman Part 2, I think that's brilliant casting. And if he's going to be Harvey Dent, and there's reports that Scarlett Johansson is going to be Gilda Dent, who is his wife. Um, there's reports, and a lot of fans are saying that it's going to be very inspired by the Long Halloween. But I guess my biggest issue with this casting isn't necessarily the casting itself, for me doubting if the movie's going to be good, but I'm kind of concerned that this movie is kind of retreading Batman territory.
yeah.
You can argue that the Christopher Nolan saga is all Dark Knight, or is all Long Halloween.
hmm
Like Batman
Do you
Begins,
want to
The Dark
explain? Do
Knight.
you want to explain that?
Yeah, because it's very detective mystery based. So pretty much the Long Halloween, because it's tough. I'm not judging anybody. A lot of people don't read comics. Go to the comic book stores right now. The Long Halloween is in every single one of your comic book stores. It's for $10 under DC's new compact comic book issues. They're novel sized. They're not like comic book size like this. So they're like book size. They're like manga size. They're like this big. You can read it. The whole Long Halloween saga. It's $10 and you can read it pretty quickly. But pretty much, there's a killer called the Holiday Killer. He's going around and he's killing people in Gotham. And the spoiler is that it's Gilda Dent. It's Harvey Dent's wife. She's going around killing people. We think it's Harvey, and then especially when half his face gets burnt out, you really think it's Harvey, but it's not. It's his wife, because she wants Harvey Dent at home. That's like a rough understanding of it, but she is scared of her husband being out there and being an uncorrupt police officer, or police DA, excuse me. So to make his life easier, and Batman's, she's going around and killing the Falcones and killing people as the Holiday Killer, um, killing people on holidays, and Batman's trying to solve the mystery. But I think my biggest issue with the casting isn't the casting itself, like I said, but more of what it represents. I have wanted to see a grounded Batman fight supernatural threats for so long, bro.
hmm
For
Oh
so
yeah.
long. Like, I think the easiest layup, the easiest pass in front of goal would be Gotham is frozen, you have Mr. Freeze.
I know you've wanted to see Mister Freeze for a long
He's my
time, haven't you?
favorite Batman villain. he
Yeah.
is my favorite Batman villain. I love Mr. Freeze. He's my favorite Batman villain. And I think having Mr. Freeze in the Batman Part 2, a frozen Gotham, and you can kind of go into like Wayne Enterprises broken economic practices and how they screwed Victor Freeze, and like Sebastian Stan as Victor Freeze. That was my first thought. I'm like, whoa, that'd be kind of cool. As Two Face, I get it, and they could really do something magical with having Bruce and Harvey being best friends, so that when
Mm,
the turn does happen, Bruce is like shattered, and you could kind of see that, you know,
yeah.
that I think that would be interesting to kind of go off of, and having Gilda Dent there, that'd be interesting. But it just feels like a really good, but a retelling, a good one, but a retelling of Long Halloween, and we've already seen that in like the comic itself. We've seen elements of that story being implemented in the Dark Knight trilogy. We've seen that heavily inspiring the Batman. I just don't know how they can keep it fresh. I don't really see how Harvey Dent coming in. Like, I guess Harvey Dent could really go after Cobblepot, like especially post
Mm.
Penguin show. Maybe Penguin has something directly to do with him being Two Face. But while it is promising to be good, it doesn't seem fresh to me. I just think the Batman Part 2 would be an easy opportunity for them to go supernatural while keeping the grounded elements, and now you start to open that universe up to like DCU connections. Cuz I do think with this casting, I don't think Robert Pattinson's Batman is going to be the DCU Batman, but I really think he should.
Is that because the MCU connection of the villains? Oh.
Kinda. I also think like, I mean, if Sebastian Stan is in Batman Part 2 and it's a one-off role, like if he's Two Face in the movie, or if he's Harvey in the movie, becomes Two Face and then is killed off or locked away, put in Arkham, he's essentially functionally only really there for one movie. If he's there for a universe and like recurring roles, yeah, his involvement in the MCU is probably gonna be limited. Maybe if, especially if he got news, hey, Bucky's probably not gonna be around post Secret Wars or Doomsday, which means what's gonna happen to him, which we'll go into later. But I do think that Matt Reeves wants to do his own thing. Sebastian Stan might want to stay in the MCU. Maybe he wants to leave. I don't know. So maybe getting a Batman role that's a one-off might not compromise his commitments to Marvel too much.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think more overall why he's going to be like just the Matt Reeves Batman universe, and why Robert Pattinson isn't going to be the DCU Batman, is because I just don't see this version of Batman being with the DCU greater, you know, like, because it's very fantastical, right? Like you have monsters, you got lanterns, you know, space murder, and now you got like corrupt cops and, you know, systemic
Yeah.
rot. And it could work because James Gunn did say what will make the DC thrive is different tones, you know, so it might work.
True.
But again, like Batman also has to move kind of semi superhuman too. You know, like he has to kind of move like very fast, and this Batman is very grounded and very human. So to now scale up his abilities, and now he can kind of rival Black Panther or Captain America. I just don't see this version of that Batman doing that. But I do have a hot take. I do think if they suddenly scaled him up and made him a bit more supernatural esque in the sequel, I wouldn't care if that means that he's being in the DCU, because Robert Pattinson is such a good Batman. He's my favorite one. I think he's the one that has best understood the psychology of the character, from the
Yeah.
brooding, from the mannerisms, from how he looks at the world, how he operates, his voice, the voice he has of himself in his head when he's narrating to himself. I mean, he just screams Batman. So I don't know why they're not pushing for this to be the DCU Batman. He really should be. He really should be. But I do think this casting is kind of confirming we're gonna get a fantastic grounded Batman Part 2. But in that, I think it's gonna be strictly Elseworlds. I just don't see it become the DCU. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see it.
I'm happy either way. I do like the idea of it being in the DCU, but also like DC have done with the Black Label comics, where it's like a one-off sort of darker tone story. Like the Joker Black Label novel was really good. I like the idea of them being like an Elseworlds thing. and just telling these like I know there's going to be sequels of the Batman, but these one-off stories that are a bit of darker tone and sort of taken away from the very well the very bright DCU.
Mhm.
We've only had one film in it so far, but that seems like it's going to be very like Guardians of the Galaxy type look to it,
Mhm.
which this just doesn't quite fit in with.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what they say. I honestly don't think DC also knows if he's
Mm,
gonna,
yeah.
because we keep getting reports like Batman and the Brave of the Bold. It's happening. It's happening. Andy Muschietti. I mean, he did a fantastic job with it. Welcome to Derry and the horrific. Like, bro, you should definitely check it out. It was really, really good.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
And Pennywise was terrifying in that. So way more than the movie. So Andy Muschietti could definitely pull off that supernatural horror element as well. Uh, but again, like I just think you're having two Batmen compete against each other, and or what they could do is they could have Robert Pattinson cast as both. He's the DCU Batman and the DC Elseworlds Batman, but playing different versions. But that might be
Oh,
confusing.
that might be confusing for like the general audience. I think like my mum would get confused by that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I mean, then I don't know what they're doing. I just hope it's not Brandon Sklenar because he just doesn't look like Batman. I'm sorry. I don't know. Like I saw him in It Ends With Us, and I was like, nah, bro, you're not Batman. Like you're not,
What
you're not.
about if the DCU Batman is this might be sort of a different tone for it. I've not read the comics, so I don't know. But the DCU Batman is an absolute Batman, and what's his name from Reacher? Alan Richter, something like that.
Rich Richardson.
Richardson. If
Okay,
he's absolute Batman in the DCU.
Absolute Batman is the best version of Batman. Like that's my hot take. I have every single issue. I have every single issue. Scott Snyder is a genius. Nick Dragota's art is incredible. Absolute Batman is incredible. And what I love about Absolute Batman is it's very relevant to the times we're in now. You have a working class Batman. He doesn't have wealth. He doesn't have riches, and we have a system like throughout the world that's kind of pitting people against each other just for their own amusement. And Batman's fighting that system. And it's no longer just Gotham; it's the world. Like Bane is an enforcer that'll topple governments at the Joker's will. Poison Ivy and Man Bat, they're creatures in Arc M instead of Arkham. It's Arc M where they create like freaks and stuff. And also Batman's characters, his character arc. He goes from like a angry, rageful kid who's like, I'm gonna take on the world, and then halfway, especially post his fight with Bane, he's like, Bane is just the beginning. I have to regroup. I have to restructure. And Batman
Hmm.
feels willingly like very vulnerable. And I don't know. I just love Absolute Batman. I love how I don't want to get too much into Absolute Batman. Real quick, do I think Absolute Batman should be the main DC version of Batman? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I think yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think yeah, because here's why. If you look at the early 2000s superhero films, they picked and chose what versions of comic books and story arcs they wanted to make their own version of Batman. So I think if they did have a 6'8" Batman who was working class, it would flip the story on it a bit. Would it make narrative sense? No, but I don't care. Like I won't lie to you because Absolute Batman is just so well written. So if we were to get a well written version of the film, I would be okay with it. But I think the biggest issue with Absolute Batman is they are in a version of Earth that was created by Darkseid. So evil and darkness and kind of losing and loss is kind of like the pervasive themes of the universe. And so to have Absolute Batman in there is ironically you're kind of have to kind of being in like a Snyderverse type of universe because
Right.
evil is inherently the dominant rule and law. Um, but again, I guess that could kind of work here with Superman because what did Jor-El and Lara say? They said to come take the world. So it could work and it could be
Yeah.
very it could because like the absolute universe is very overtly dark, kind of dark and bleak, and um Superman was not. But then
Hmm.
again, you could argue that was Superman bringing his energy into a universe that's very dark and very bleak.
Yeah. True.
We
True.
have yet to see how the DC universe was before he got here. So maybe it could be a play on the absolute universe. I mean, it would make sense to have, have Jor-El and Lara kind of be like, take the world that's very not the L's, make an absolute version. I mean, that'd be cool. Make Bruce Wayne like working class. His family, he lost his father to a school shooting rather than a Wayne murder after a movie theater. Like that would be relevant to the times. I think from a business perspective, Absolute Batman would make the most sense from a business perspective, and it delineates Robert Pattinson's version of the character to now you have Absolute Batman. Um,
Hmm.
I think it'd be really cool. He would be very brutal for sure because Absolute Batman, because he still has a living parent, he's actually a bit more brutal because he doesn't want to
Yeah.
lose that parent. So he has an axe. He'll cut people's hands off. Like he
Oh
will go
wow. Okay.
Kratos. He won't kill them, but he'll those hospital bills will kill you. So it's a Batman that will Absolute Batman kind of takes the Batman mythos and restructures those villains to be like indicative of the world we're in now. So it's very relevant. Like Dr. Arkham knows the cure for cancer, but she doesn't want the masses to get it, so she reverse engineers it so you always need, pills and stuff, when she already has like stuff like that. Um, Bruce, his mom is the mayor, so she's targeted by the powers that be. Like, there's a lot of really cool, interesting stuff in the Absolute Universe. So yeah, I would not be opposed, or even if it's not Absolute Batman, but like an absolute, like a Batman that's very heavily inspired by Absolute Batman, like six
Yeah.
eight, younger, like having a Batman that's younger than Superman. I think that'd be interesting. Um, I would not be opposed to it. I think you would have to get somebody who understands how the characters and the mythos of Absolute Universe works for it to kind of work for DCU's James Gunn. But if you wanted two different Batmen that existed at the same time, that did not step on each other's toes, have one classic themed, aka Robert Pattinson, have Absolute Batman themed in the DCU, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty good.
Um, do you think it's time for some Doomsday chat?
Yeah, yeah. Let's
The
get the clock.
Doomsday clock is ticking.
Let's get the clock rolling, man. We need to have enough said clock too at the end of every like screen of every episode that kind of goes into
Oh yeah.
Doomsday. That'd be kind of cool. Um,
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
bro, you're
So
much more high on Doomsday than I am. I won't lie to
I
you.
think that's a bit of it is trying to get myself excited for it,
Okay.
if you get me, because there's nothing better as a comic book fan than being in the cinema for an Avengers movie. That's like the pinnacle. That's like the European Cup final, the World Cup final of being a comic book movie fan. Is these big, event movies. So I'm trying to get myself excited for it. Might get let down in the end, but the journey's the more fun part.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm getting excited for it because we'll get onto this more in a bit. But I'm planning to rewatch the entire MCU. We're going to do that together. Um, but I think it is exciting. The only thing that's worrying about it is how will they actually pull it off and what is gonna happen,
Mhm.
because the build up to the Infinity War and Endgame was like nothing we've ever seen in cinema history. That was like 10 years of storytelling. With this one, because of the Jonathan Majors thing, partly because of the film's not doing too well, and because of them trying to do too much and spreading themselves too thin, we don't really have any clue what's going to happen, and there's not been a proper build up to it whatsoever,
Mhm.
um, which is a bit scary. But I don't really know if they're going to pull it off. As I said, I'm trying to get excited just because the build up to Infinity War and Endgame was like one of the best times of my life being a comic book fan. So I'm trying to get a bit of that feeling back by trying to make myself excited. But I really don't know if they're gonna pull it off and what's gonna happen. They're doing another film next year as well, a year after.
Mhm.
So they've got to build up. They've got to introduce Doom. They've got to explain Doom's motivations and have a whole film with him, and then obviously the fallout of that is the year after. So maybe with 2 films they can do it, but I don't know. What do you think?
So, um, I want to preface it by saying just because it was written in a comic a specific way, that does not behold a movie to do the same thing, right? So
Mhm.
we've had 2 iterations of Secret Wars, one from 1984 and one Jonathan Hickman's version. Both of them, Hickman's was by far better, but I'm a big Jonathan Hickman guy, unless he writes Spider-Man, then which case I'm not a fan. But we can go over Ultimate Spider-Man next time. But I don't know how they're gonna do Secret Wars and or specifically Doomsday first. I don't know how you can do it without having there be a rivalry between Doom and Reed. At the end of
Mhm.
the day, Secret Wars is a story about Victor versus Reed. Like that is the heart of it, and it's interesting because, well, one, it's like kind of like a love letter to Marvel. You don't really have Marvel without the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom. So to kind of
Yeah.
having Marvel start with that rivalry and then in Secret Wars end with that rivalry, only for there to be a universal reboot, so to speak, with all new, all different. Um, I think there's just something very Marvel about it. So to not have that, and especially not build that up in Fantastic Four First Steps, I was kind of like, then what are they doing? Are they just kind of making a Avengers movie but putting Doomsday on there when it really has nothing to do with that? I don't know. So I won't lie. When I first got the reports of it and I first got like the leaks, I was like, I don't care. Like, give me Spider-Man Brand New Day. And like that's really where my brain went. Then I
Oh
saw
yeah,
the
I'm more excited for Spider-Man than Avengers this year. I must say that. But anytime there's a Spider-Man film out, that's the most anticipated of the year, no matter
I
what else is coming out.
I do think Brand New Day is going to be a better film than Doomsday. And I'm not just
Yeah,
saying that just because we're massive Spider-Man fans. I just think what they're cooking up for that movie is going to be generational. But then, I mean, Doomsday, if Doomsday does its job, it will objectively be better than Spider-Man. I just don't see it happening because one,
yeah,
Doomsday effectively is kind of a Doomsday on everything post Phase 4, right? Kamala Khan, the Defenders, or excuse me, not the Defenders, the Marvels, Captain America, Brave New World, like none of these movies, Eternals, none of them have anything to do with Doomsday. And it was established when, what did they say? Steve Rogers is coming back as Captain America. So
yeah,
I like, okay, you can have Nomad or Steve Rogers, not Captain America, in the movie and have Sam Wilson's Captain America in the movie and them still stand out. I don't think that's impossible. But I do think there's a bit of like box office cushion. Like Disney executives will probably like get him back, like because
oh, 100%.
I mean Captain America 4 underwhelmed financially and like critically, so they were probably
They
like,
should. They just shouldn't have made that film. Like, it's just it's. You know how you always hear about like reshoots with comic book movies like all the time, but then when you watch the film, it just it's quite cohesive. That film has the most obvious reshoots I've ever seen.
it's
Any
bad.
scene with Giancarlo Esposito, Anthony Mackie's the only other guy in it,
Yeah,
and like it's just a bit of a mess. Seth Rollins they should have stuck with Seth Rollins as a villain as well.
yeah.
I'm
I don't
salty
know
about
what they
it 'cause I'm a
did.
big Seth Rollins fan.
I don't know. Yeah, why they took him out. That's another issue I have with the
The
MCU.
Wait, one sec. The reason they took him out is because they said they had the opportunity to get Giancarlo Esposito, and
Mm.
not Giancarlo. What's his name? That's his name, isn't it?
Yeah, John Carlos Esposito. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and they had the opportunity to get him, and they just took it and then just said, "Yeah, goodbye to Seth Rollins," even though Seth had filmed all the same scenes that Giancarlo had.
Mm.
But then they just there's one scene especially where you can notice it. They basically just redid all his scenes with Giancarlo. But the thing is, Anthony they could only because of like I don't know budget or whatever. Anthony Mackie was the only guy in the scenes with him, and they just like patched onto the film. So when Giancarlo's character is like chained up when he's imprisoned, like one of the army guys says to uh, what's Sam says to him, oh yeah, so he's over there for you. Like he's over there. Go speak to him. And then oh, it pains me to think about it. It so then it cuts to Sam walking over to him, and then you just see like sort of a generic background, and it's just so clearly added on and filmed later. And they messed up the film just to get this big name in,
Hmm.
which they didn't need to do. You've got Harrison Ford in the movie.
Yeah, and they didn't even do anything with Giancarlo. Like that's a big issue I have with the Marvel like MCU is they'll hire like massive stars for them to have underwhelming roles. Why would you get Christian Bale as Gore and then him do absolutely
Oh,
nothing
don't
with
get
it?
me
You know, you
started.
cast Giancarlo Esposito as a, a freaking henchman you could fight in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Like that's a Norman Osborn level casting. That's a
Yeah,
like what are you doing? That's a or Giancarlo. He has an incredible comedic range too. You could have
yeah.
cast him. You could have casted him in like an Ant-Man movie. You know, like to replace
He was
Michael Pena or something.
absolutely
Like
wasted.
yeah, like instead he's like Captain America. You can't beat me, and then he gets like a bunch of like knives thrown into him, and Sam Wilson's like, actually, I can. And then like I don't know, like it was you're gonna cast these big stars and you do nothing with them. They kind of did
Hmm.
something with Hella, like she was actually kind of cool, but like like why? Like Christian Bale, I can't get over that. Christian Bale is Gore, and then they absolutely did nothing with the character, like
That
especially
film
when you
should have
read,
been so much darker,
yeah.
and I've got so many, I've got so many problems that movie that we could go on for hours.
That movie does
But
not deserve an episode, bro. I mean, we could do a hate episode, but that episode, like, and you know what's
yeah,
bad when even Chris Hemsworth hated that movie. Even he was like, we overdid the comedy." But on the topic of Chris Hemsworth and going into Doomsday, that was the biggest issue or biggest difference I've seen. Right. So before I saw the trailers and the clips and everything, I was like, I'm not on board with this movie. It's
hmm,
because to me, it's like we're going through the motions. Marvel needs a prime MCU where you have the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. So whatever
yeah,
happens at the end of Secret Wars or Doomsday, and then Secret Wars, we're gonna get the prime Marvel universe back. So like, we're just going through the motions. That's what I felt like. There isn't anything surprising, but
yeah.
ironically, and that is a surprise because I looked at the teasers for Steve Rogers will return with his baby. I looked at the teaser of Thor praying in the forest. The best one, in my opinion, which was Cyclops going like, "Ah," you know what I mean, and like,
I knew you'd love that one. You love
yeah,
a bit of Cyclops.
chat. I love Cyclops. He's my favorite. It's Peter Parker, Scott Summers. Those are my one and two. And the moment Cyclops is in Marvel Rivals, bro, I am going to be spamming him. But you know, that's a whole nother thing. But no, Cyclops is my favorite Marvel character outside of Spider-Man. I love me some Scott. I love me. He's the best. He is the greatest X-Man ever. I could do a whole episode on him. Scott is him. I love Scott Summers. He's my favorite X-Men. He's so much cooler than Wolverine, by the way. But anyway, but we saw that teaser. And then we saw the Wakandan and Fantastic Four teaser, which I thought it was brilliant to have the Wakandans and the Fantastic Four meet up because what was Black Panther's first appearance? It was in a Fantastic Four
Hmm.
comic book. It makes sense. But I saw those and I was like, hold up. The vibe is very dark. You have Thor praying. So Steve was very like, I have a baby. And I'm like, uh-oh, bad stuff is probably going to happen to the baby. Then you have Thor praying. Then you have Cyclops screaming in rage. He probably like lost the X-Men or something, or lost his daughter. There's reports like Doom took Hope Summers, and then who's his daughter, and then we have Shuri pretty much saying, "Hey, get the Wakandans ready for the afterlife." You have Namor sitting in like a desert, so I'm thinking, wait, did Doom evaporate the oceans?
Oh, oh.
Because I'm like, what are you doing? Are you on Battle World? Because if you look at the Telekineal's face, they still have water in their mouths, but their faces are flushed and they're getting burnt.
Mm,
So I'm
yeah.
like, did Doom like eviscerate the water? And like Namor is
Oh
like
my god, that'll be
Namor,
brutal.
yeah. And now you need the Fantastic Four to help because it's like sci-fi help. You know, I don't know, like so. So I look at all the trailers and I'm like, they look like they're actually shot on set. they look beautiful to look at. There's so much lighting, no more of that green screen. It doesn't look slapped together like the other
Yeah,
MCU
it
movies.
looks very good.
So from a technical perspective, it looks like a return to form.
Hmm.
But is the story a return to form as well? Is the story going to be good? I love the Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts was excellent.
That is the best. I think it's the best MCU film. Well, the Guardians 3 and that are the best MCU films since Endgame.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And Fantastic Four, I think, yeah, I mean, we already did that episode, but I definitely the third act was very weak, but the first two halves were very strong. And bro, that opening of the
Mm.
Fantastic Four, bro, that gives me such a massive smile on my face. Like that's just classic Fantastic Four. So I guess what I'm this is the first Avengers movie where we're getting the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men all in one movie. On
Yeah,
paper, this is everything we should be dreaming of, but so much behind the scenes and the lackluster stories has me thinking like, I don't know what's gonna happen, bro. And I'm just waiting for us to get the prime Marvel universe, which I think is what's going to happen. Like all the universes
yeah,
are gonna combine, and we're gonna get an MCU reboot of maybe different versions of Iron Man and Captain America, but they're effectively back. Like Steve and Tony are effectively back, just different actors.
hmm,
And we got to combine Marvel universe. But in that, what is exciting about that inherently? Like, how does that challenge the MCU itself? Like, do you see what I'm saying? It seems like
yeah.
it's very. We're just kind of going through the motions.
I do agree with that. But when Infinity War and Endgame came out, they were the most ambitious sort of films in history, really. And even though I don't like the Russos' work outside the MCU, they delivered massively with that. So I think if anyone can do it, it's them
Mm.
because they've done it before. And I know this is on a much bigger scale, but we've got to trust them because they have done it before and they excelled and they over delivered with Infinity War and Endgame. So I
Mm-hmm.
think with them two in charge, it's got the best chance of being a success than anyone else doing it.
I think it would be interesting if the MCU characters, like you know how Thanos had to beat them
Yeah.
and win. It would be interesting if like the heroes kind of like surrendered to Doom.
Mm.
Like they surrendered to Doom. I think they have to have a scene of Doom killing Thanos. You need to
Yeah.
have like maybe Thanos is like they go through this, like another version of the timeline, but earlier bring Thanos back. It would be interesting if the Avengers are like, we need to bring Thanos back to handle Doom,
Oh no.
and
You
then the
could not live with your failure.
yeah, so then
Let it bring back
they're
to me.
and then they're like, yo, we need you. We have this guy in this usurper, Victor Von Doom. He's talking crazy in the future. We need you. Please take him out. And then Thanos is like, okay, blah, 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 blah. Maybe the Avengers are hoping both of them kill each other in the battle,
Mm.
only for Doom to do the classic taking out the spine, like in the comic book, like,
Oh yeah.
and now the Avengers are like you get what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that would be kind of cool to see. But I think for this movie to be successful, Doctor Doom has to be the main villain, and we have to really feel the doom that is
Mm.
coming from him. We have to get a feeling like we're the dinosaurs and the asteroid is coming, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Like
Yeah.
you know, like I don't know, maybe they do something where there isn't a prime Marvel universe, but there's like the timelines are so infinitely shattered after the movies so that they all just kind of exist on top of each other. So there's a universe, but it's not it's messy as it was
Hmm.
originally intended to be. I know Loki's gonna be in there. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is gonna be in Doomsday, but our Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man, is not. Tom Holland is not, which I think is very interesting. Um,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a
Well,
report.
Toby's still not confirmed, but
Yeah, but all the there's. Did you see the leaked?
yeah, it's very strong rumors.
Did you see the leaked thing where there's gonna be a fight between Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire's like Wolverine and Spider Man?
That's everything I've ever wanted.
But while we're on the topic, let's talk about it. Who do you think would win in a fight realistically, Wolverine or Spider Man?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Toby Maguire or Hugh Jackman.
No, no, he was winning that. But if we're going on
um,
characters,
Wolverine or Spider Man. Those versions.
yeah.
Oh, I think it depends, like, what's at stake. Like, if Wolverine's like just killed Mary Jane, then I'm going with Peter. But if it's just a straight up like scrap, it's got to be Wolverine, hasn't it?
So being here, I actually read Spider-Man versus Wolverine. It was a limited comic series from like the 90s where pretty much Wolverine is gonna kill like a Cold War Russian agent. Like I'm badly generalizing it, but pretty much he's gonna kill a friend of his named Charlie, and she's like a Russian agent. But
Yeah,
she asked to be euthanized because she couldn't keep taking them like the her life anymore. She was very, suicidal, so to speak.
yeah,
Spider-Man is like, you can't just kill people, bro. What are you doing? So they have a fight, and Spider-Man can't physically beat him down because he keeps like healing, but Wolverine can't beat him either. Like
okay,
Wolverine is just too slow. He can't touch him because
yeah,
if you think about it, Otto's tentacles move way faster than those claws.
yeah. That's true. That's true.
So like Wolverine, and also people argue, is Wolverine stronger than Venom? And some iterations Venom wins and some iterations Venom loses. I'm of the opinion that the Spider-Man villains are among the most dangerous and deadly villains in all comic book history. They just move physically different. So I
Hmm.
think that Venom is probably going to win on his day, more part than not. So I think if Spider-Man fights people who are way harder and way more brutal than Wolverine, he's going to win no matter what. But I do think Spider-Man can get very badly messed up if he's not careful. But I think that
Yeah,
he just can't touch him. I think Peter is faster, he's stronger, and he has spider sense. There is absolutely nothing Wolverine could really do if Peter really wanted to get to him. Like, I just don't think there's anything
yeah. You're
Wolverine could
right.
do.
Actually, you've changed my mind on that one.
Cause think about it, like Wolverine could go like that, and he could be like, psst. He could go like that, and he could go like, psst. Like,
Yeah, true, true.
like if he could just web him up and then just punch him until he gets knocked out temporarily, because he can't break adamantium, but his brain is in there, so he can just keep punching him until like. So
Hmm.
I just think that there's nothing that Wolverine could really do if he wanted to get Spider-Man. There's just nothing. Like if Peter's not mind control and he's on it, yeah, he's not beating him. Like
Yeah,
he's fought Carnage and come out. He's not losing to. No disrespect, I'm making Wolverine sound like a chump, but he's fought Carnage and Venom and come out on top. He's not losing to Wolverine. Like it's just not happening. Especially Tobey Maguire's version, because I would argue he has the best hands, but especially out of all the
yeah.
Spider-Man. But on the
Most
topic of
experience.
Toby, I think it would be interesting if Doom. Like I know we've talked about it in the past, but I think it would be interesting if Doom killed him.
Oh no, that. I grew up with Toby. He's like that's my childhood.
So imagine the shock in the theater when Doom kills him.
Yeah,
Like Toby is fighting, like he doesn't go out like a chump. Don't do him like Blade, like in Marvel Zombies. Like he has a fight. Maybe Doom earns his respect a little bit, or Toby gets his respect a little bit, but Doom is then like enough, and then or something, and then
yeah,
Toby's down, and then that forces Tom Holland's Spider-Man to now join the fray. Maybe he's motivated. Oh my god, you killed, Peter too. And then, like there's just something I don't know. Like I just think we have a lack of build up from the new characters, so the only way for us to feel any motivational anything or emotional anything and to feel us getting motivated is for Doom to start offing the classic characters that we've known for years.
yeah. That's a good point.
So like I think like Doom should, like, I don't want it, but I do think it'd be interesting if he were the one who would, like, in a heartbreaking scene, were to wipe out maybe Toby and Andrew's Spider-Man. I think it'd be
Both of them.
it would be heartbreaking, but it would also maybe make Doom like that level of a threat, you
Yeah,
know? Um I definitely see Doom taking out most of the X-Men. while we're on the topic of Doomsday, let me ask you this, because Brie was asking me this and I didn't know. Is Halle Berry coming back?
Oh, I hope so.
Or do you think she's gonna be one of the major reveals, like one of the major surprises? Because she's got to come back, right? As Storm, she has
Yeah,
to come back.
yeah, sure. Oh, I'd love to, because like, you know, this is a side tangent. You know, her mum's from Liverpool.
Really?
Her mum is a Scouser.
For real?
Anyway, she's from Old Swan in Liverpool. Anyway,
And
um,
Hallie was born in Cleveland. That's a me and you connection there too. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay.
but anyway, I think it'd be great to see her back. She's one of the most iconic, parts of the original X-Men films. Um, I know me and you would be a fan. This might be terrible, Cassim, but we'd be a fan of Jade Cargill as Storm.
She might not be able to act, but she can look it. So I don't
Yeah,
feel. I don't like. She'd be great. Like, but Hallie's got to come back, bro. She's got.
yeah. She's in a film with Mark Ruffalo and Chris Hemsworth at the minute, so maybe they had a bit of a word in her ear.
Yeah, like because imagine like the X-Men are my favorite superhero team ever. Like bar
Yeah.
like including the Avengers, and I love the Fantastic Four, but including the Avengers, including the Fantastic Four, Teen Titans, Justice League. For me, it's the X-Men. Always has been, especially with Cyclops. So imagine like Cyclops, like the Sentinels are coming. He's like. Like and it's just not working. Maybe he takes the glasses, the visor off, and he's like, still not working. And then you hear thunder and you think it's Thor, but then
Oh, but it's actually Storm. Oh,
it's
that'd be so
Storm
good.
and give her
That'd
the
be so good.
Omega level status that she
Yeah.
had. Like she's one of the most powerful mutants ever. Bro, she beat
Yeah.
Wonder Woman in the Marvel versus DC crossover. So she beat Wonder Woman. She beat
She's
Wonder Woman.
underrated. She's underrated.
Storm is one of the most powerful superheroes of all time, bro. So I think having like because in Secret Wars in the comic book, Cyclops did get killed by Doom, and as much as I love
Hmm.
Cyclops, it was one panel. Cyclops tried to use the Phoenix Force. Next panel, Doom snapped his neck. Like it was Cyclops tried it. Doom said no. But I think it would be interesting if Storm, bro, if Storm was like powerful enough to where Doom, like imagine Doom beat Thor, but he couldn't beat Storm. Like I think that I know
Oh, that'd
people
be
might.
epic. That'd
I
be
think
so
people
good.
might get mad, like, "Oh, how did he beat a god but not a mutant?" I don't care, bro. Storm is awesome. She's cool, bro. And some versions, she, from Doctor Voodoo, who's in the Doctor Strange version of Marvel, she gets like magic abilities outside of her mutant powers anyway. So you can definitely power Storm up, bro. Like
Yeah.
I just think I think like we just talked a lot about Doomsday and everything, but I think the resounding theme, and as the episodes go on more and more this year, you'll definitely see it kind of getting siphoned. I definitely think Doomsday has a lot of potential cool ideas, and it
Mhm.
looks technically very, very nice. It finally looks like a return to form, and the story seems very bleak, which is what I like. I like darker stories, but they need to be able to get us to invest in a story that is introducing the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, the Avengers, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, all of Deadpool and Wolverine, all in one movie. Have there be a similar thematic structure throughout the entire film. Have one core theme going through the entire movie, and maybe make it like dealing of loss or something like that. I don't know, and make it stick the landing, and have the ending be ballsy, bro. If Thanos won in Endgame, Infinity War, excuse me, in Infinity War, Doom cannot just win in Doomsday. There's got to be something different. And
Mhm.
this is what I'm gonna do, and then I'll shut up. It's got to be a betrayal.
Oh, okay.
It's got to be a betrayal from a classic character. So they have to do something different for us to get on us on our feet, bro. You remember when Thanos snapped and we were like for a year, we're like, what's next? If
Yeah.
Doom wins and creates a battle world, we know that's gonna happen.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So you want
so
something different? What could that be?
yeah, or they WrestleMania it, where it's like the fans will probably know the good guy's gonna win, but it's more about how you do it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just think so much of Doomsday we already know, and so much of the comics we have already known. So like, what could they possibly get us to do to make us feel like, oh my god, like
Hmm.
It's a lot right now. It's a lot. But there's cool characters in the X-Men, and Cyclops and Storm are in there, and we got Toby Spider-Man in there, so I'm in. But I think that motivation, right, for me being in because of those characters is also a big problem that I see with the MCU right now. It's not for the story arc, it's for I just want to see my characters. That's not
Yeah, true,
ideal. That's not
true.
ideal. That's just my opinion. But and also real quick
Well,
and then I'll shut up. Um we do have breaking news about Sony real quick on the topic of Spider-Man, and we can definitely do a future episode about this. Sony is now willing to share and work with the MCU regarding Spider-Man characters. So what does that mean? We can finally see Norman Osborn in like a Captain America movie, or we could see Rhino and like Hawkeye season 2, or we could see Electro and Ant-Man. Like Spider-Man characters outside of Spider-Man will finally be spread out in the MCU,
and I
which
think we could see Kingpin in a movie because Vincent D'Onofrio was talking about how I think it's weird rights with Kingpin 'cause he's both a Daredevil and a Spider-Man villain, isn't he?
mhm,
I think the TV rights belong to Marvel, but the film rights to Kingpin belong to Sony, something like that.
mhm.
Um, so it's something complicated anyway. But that we can see him in a Spider-Man film now. Hopefully, brand new day. Because I remember he spoke about, I can only appear in the shows, but I can't appear in the films. Hopefully, this solves that.
Yeah, I mean, and Kingpin, I've wanted to see Kingpin versus Tom Holland Spider Man for a long time, especially in Spider Man 5. Throw in the black suit, throw in Mysterio in there.
Oh yeah,
Boom. Like, we have the Spider Man movie. But
he has to be there somehow because like he's the mayor of New York.
mhm.
Like he has to be involved somehow.
I think the easiest way you can, because I know we want to talk about like, top 5 films and like how to rewatch MCU for Doomsday, but real quick, I think this is now an opportunity not to just build up like Spider-Man villains, but also to build up the MCU. The MCU, when Spider-Man was first brought into the MCU, I was under the impression that we are going to get his world and his vibe into Marvel, not Marvel taking their spin on his world. So
Hmm.
we essentially that means we can see just how dangerous and deadly and how conniving his villains really are. Spider-Man is the ultimate foil for them. So from our perspectives on Spider-Man's side, we're like, yeah, get the bad guy. But one thing I really loved about the Insomniac games is when you play as like a normal version, like when you played as Miles in Spider-Man 1 and you're trying to get away from Rhino, you got the feeling of just how dangerous and how terrifying these villains actually are to normal people, even to other superheroes. When Martin
Yeah.
Lee had everybody and like, zip ties in the Grand Central Station scene and the bomb is going off in the game, you got a sense of Spider-Man villains are like low-key terrorists, bro. Like, how does Spider-Man deal with this? No, honestly. So it's like, I think it would be interesting to kind of see Spider-Man characters and spaces of the Marvel universe and see them be absolute horrible. So that when you do have a Spider-Man movie, you have a feeling of a build-up, like, oh, go get him, Spider-Man. Like
Yeah.
one easy one, one easy one. Craven has to be in Black Panther 3.
Oh, I'd love that. I would love that.
Morbius has to be in Blade.
Yeah.
Kingpin.
If Blade ever happens.
Yeah, which we got to talk about that next time.
That's a
But
whole nother
Morbius,
conversation.
like so much, like Kurt Connors, he should be working with Bruce Banner. Like, it's time to start
Mm.
seeing Spider-Man villains. Norman Osborn. I know Valentina bought Avengers Tower. That should have been Oscorp.
Oh yeah, that
That
was a
that
missed opportunity.
that should have been Oscorp. But now we can finally see Spider-Man's world being integrated into the MCU and not MCU taking their spin on it. I think we can finally see
Yeah.
bro, Chameleon should have been in Black Widow. Chameleon should have been in Black Widow. Mysterio, bro, put Mysterio as the main villain. Like, no, they can't because that's Jake Gyllenhaal's version. But Mysterio, anytime he interacts with Daredevil, is always cinema.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
like
So you can't see.
exactly, bro. Like Hydro Man, against the Talakandil. Like, bro, like I know we're kind of going goofy, and I know Spider-Man is my favorite character, but I just think there's a lot of potential to have the MCU kind of having appearances from Spider-Man. Like imagine the pop we'll get if we're watching Daredevil season 3 and Bullseye's talking to somebody and you look across the corner and it's like a Spider-Man villain, you know?
Oh yeah,
Like it just it would
like
it's
Tombstone or like Hammerhead, like one of the like crime villains.
yes. Yes, bro. Imagine like MCU giving Hammerhead the Penguin treatment.
Oh, that would be brilliant.
So and that's what this has allowed. So I'm very happy with this news, but now this is going to be the part of the show that I've been waiting the most for.
Yes, let's
And
talk about it.
this is Ollie, this is your forte. So you guys got to check this out. You guys got to watch this. Ollie, we need a guide on how to rewatch the MCU for Doomsday, and we need details, bro. We need you to break it down for us.
Okay, so I know I'm a bit of a critic of AI, but I have used AI to make a handy checklist for rewatching the MCU. So if you start, so this isn't taking into consideration the X-Men movies. Watch them when you have the time. If you wanted to do a scheduled rewatch of all the MCU films and all the X-Men films, you would have had to start a month ago. So watch them when you can fit them in. But starting Friday 27th of March, you can watch one film per week and it'll take you right up to Doomsday. I did this in the build up to Infinity War. Infinity War was perfect because starting the first week of 2018, like New Year's Day, watching one MCU film a week took you up to the week Infinity War came out, which is incredible. But starting on Friday 27th of March, every Friday up until the 18th of December, watch one MCU film. Do it in release order. Otherwise, it gets too complicated. Go like phase one, phase two, phase three, phase four, phase five, phase six. So you start with Iron Man on Friday 27th. The link to the document with the checklist will be below, and you can tick them off as you watch them. You can. There's a little star thing where you can re-rank them because that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be re-reviewing the films, and we won't just be handing you this and then you go and do it yourself. We'll also be doing weekly podcasts, so shorter episodes. Just when we rewatch Iron Man on the week of the 27th, do a quick 20-minute episode discussing the movie and re-reviewing it. And do you think your opinions will change of any films as we rewatch them? Is there
Oh,
some that you haven't seen in a while? 'Cause I
oh,
haven't rewatched the whole thing since pre Infinity War.
I think Phase One is actually going to look much better
Mm-hmm.
than I think so because like those movies they were in a time where you kind of had to take your time. You couldn't rush stuff out. So
Yeah,
I think I'll probably look at Phase One a little better.
I think so. I did a bit of a mini rewatch last year. I just picked and chose which ones I was watching. And one film that I didn't think was as bad as I remember it was Thor: The Dark World.
Yes,
Uh,
that was so good. That is such
yeah,
a good movie, bro. I don't get why people hate
I,
it.
I think at the time, compared to the other MCU films that were out at the time, it's not as good as them. But when you, this is maybe a bit of a backhanded compliment to the MCU, but when you look at some of the recent films like Thor: Love and Thunder, Quantumania, levels above them.
Hmm.
But I really enjoyed that when I watched it last year. So that's one that I've been surprised by.
The soundtrack of that movie is it's an awesome workout soundtrack. I'll say that. It's really really good, bro. It's really like I love Thor: The Dark World. I think I'm not gonna say it's cinema, but damn, it was close to it. I loved it. I thought it was
Yeah, it's
great.
not the worst Thor movie.
And the first Captain America movie, actually, all the Captain
It's
America
great.
movies are
Yeah.
great. Yeah, but I think the first one was really underrated. When I first saw it, like I was like, what, eighth grade,
Hmm.
eighth, ninth grade. I was like, this is boring, boring. Like I was bored out of my mind. And then I remember one of my friends had to actually drag me to watch Winter Soldier because I'm like, it's Captain
Oh
America.
no.
I'm like, I remember, I'm like, bro, it's Captain America, bro. Like, what's he gonna do? Throw a shield? I'd rather watch Spider Man. What? And then I came out of Winter Soldier and I was like, I was wrong. Like, yeah. So I'm very excited. But I'm not the biggest fan of the Guardians movies. Guardians 3 I really loved.
Yeah.
I thought Guardians 1 was mad cringy and annoying as hell. And I thought Guardians 2 was really cringy up until the reveal of the planet killed his mom, and then it got really
That
good.
moment is insane.
I think the I have a hot take for somebody who really loves James Gunn's Superman. I really don't like a lot of his movies, but I don't know. That's just
Maybe your opinion will change with rewatching them,
yeah, maybe. Okay, now in this rewatch, and I know you're probably going to talk about it too. Are we including Disney Plus?
like the shows.
Yeah.
No, I'm just going. Just to save time. The only one that I think will be essential is Loki,
See,
especially season 2.
okay,
So that's we'll call that additional viewing.
okay,
But just to make everyone's lives easier, we'll stick to just the films.
okay.
Um, but the only maybe Falcon and Winter Soldier just to see what they've been up to since Endgame. Um, but I think Loki season 2, especially of Loki, is the only the whole of Loki. Let's say that
Okay.
the whole of Loki is the only show that I would say is absolutely essential.
Okay.
I don't really think any of the others are that important, or some they're fine.
Yeah.
Definitely don't watch Secret Invasion
I
because
forgot that show existed, bro.
it's painful to watch.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's what's going on, and I'm really excited to do the episodes and discuss those films as well. You know which one I'm really interested in discussing and rewatching it is Incredible Hulk
Yeah, because a lot
because
of people hate it. I loved it.
I really enjoyed it when I was younger. I haven't seen that since in the build up to Infinity War, so 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
No, I love Incredible Hulk. I thought it was the first Hulk I've seen. So I remember watching the Ang Lee Hulk, which I know a lot of people are really loving now recently. I'm still not so like okay, one of our friends Max, he talks about how Hulk has a broken psyche. And
yeah.
there's like a psychological Moon Knight type element to Bruce Banner. So if you're a massive Hulk fan, like from the comics, you're probably not going to like Incredible Hulk that much. Um, I'm not a big Hulk. Like I'm reading the new Infernal Hulk run where Hulk pretty much takes over hell, and
Oh,
there's a
the Donny Cates Ryan Otley Hulk from a few years ago was very good.
okay, yeah. So I got to check out. There's a lot more psychological elements to the Hulk that I had originally thought of, but I'm a big X-Men Spider-Man guy. I never really read Hulk. Um, but I just really loved how the Incredible Hulk, he just, for a lack of a better term, he just felt like a badass. Like
Yeah.
he was just cool, bro. Like and the action and everything. I kind of like how there was a biological component, like when the heart rate goes higher.
Oh, that
You
was
know,
cool. And
So
Ed Norton is great as well, isn't he? Like,
yeah, yeah, he was incredible. I would have loved to see him continue as Hulk, but he wanted to go down the more psychological elements of the character, and Disney and Universal did not. So
yeah.
they let him go. Which, hey, I mean, we got Doomsday. Let's have him as another variant or something. I don't know.
Maybe in the MCU Prime he comes back.
Sorry, Mark Ruffalo. I'm just not the biggest fan of your Hulk, bro. Like, so I'm just not the biggest fan. Yeah, maybe, man. I really love Incredible Hulk. One sleeper that when we're watching the MCU that I'm kind of interested to see if our opinions kind of change on it. Um, Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if that
I think
changes.
there's parts of it that from memory. 'Cause again, it's pre-Infinity War when I last watched it. Um, Parts of it are really good, but I also feel like at the time it like undid a lot of what the previous like solo films in the build up to it
Hmm.
did. Like Shield is sort of destroyed in Winter Soldier, and then just the helicarrier's back
Yeah,
and Nick Fury's back. and that
Yeah,
just sort of undoes everything that happened to Nick Fury at the end of Winter Soldier.
yeah.
So yeah, that one will be an interesting one to rewatch.
And I'm very interested to rewatch. I'm interested to rewatch the Spider-Man movies now that we have Brand New Day coming in, and
Mm.
like I watch
Oh
that leaked trailer on my phone all the time. I rewatch
yeah,
that leaked trailer all the time, and I kind of like I'm interested to rewatch those movies before we rewatch or before we watch the eventual Brand New Day trailer, which again is
yeah.
probably not going to come out until May of this year. But like I think that
Let me just get the watch list up 1 second to check
yeah,
when we I don't have it on here. I think I sent it to you, didn't I? Bear with us for 2 seconds.
yeah, you guys will be okay. You'll be all right.
So I, I have included um, Brand New Day in the watch list, but like it'll be at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time, so the week before Doomsday, Brand New Day will hopefully be available on like digital, or you'll be able to get a decent link or whatever.
Okay.
Who said that? So uh, Spider-Man: Homecoming in the watch list is scheduled for July 10th. When is the release date of Brand New Day?
July 31st.
Is it okay? So yeah, we'll watch Homecoming, and then like a couple days or a couple weeks later, we'll see Brand New Day. So that's good. That'll be very very close together. Like when Brand New Day actually released in cinemas.
Because
Um,
I want to see the distinct tonal difference in the characters of Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and the tonal shift between
mhm.
Homecoming and Brand New Day. It's a reboot really of the Spider-Man brand in the MCU, so I'm really excited to see the contrast
Yeah,
between that. Yeah, that'll be exciting. I'm also really excited to see Black Widow, because I only saw it one time.
yeah. I've only seen that one time as well. You know what else it'll be interesting to see the Marvels because I've never seen it.
I I ain't gonna lie, bro. That movie sucks. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. And I hate like, there's a lot of toxic fans in the MCU, but objectively, and I feel bad saying this as a Pakistani because we finally got a Pakistani superhero in Kamala Khan. That movie sucks. There's nothing good about that movie, bro.
you
I'm
know,
sorry.
you know was surprising because I didn't hear great things about it, and I did try to watch it once on a plane and fell asleep after 5 minutes.
That
And
movie's
one thing that
terrible.
really surprised me recently was 28 years later, The Bone Temple was directed by Nia DaCosta, who directed Marvels, and that for me is the best film in the 28 years, 28 days franchise.
Mm.
I don't know what happened with the Marvels, but she is a brilliant director.
It,
And I don't know if that was one of those MCU films where it's just too produced and it's like too much like the studio wanted this to happen and it didn't really matter what director was in there.
yeah.
Um, but she should her name should not be tarnished by the Marvels. She's an excellent director.
You're much nicer than me because I would have said like, who the hell made that movie? I had no idea she did that. So like, okay, it probably was super produced, bro. Because Chloe Zhao, yeah, Eternals was super produced, and yeah, that
Yeah,
also
and
wasn't the great.
she's another one who's an unbelievable director. And this kind of leads into our final segment. She directed one of my favorite films of 2025.
Let's get into it. Let's go into your
Let's do
top
it.
five films of last year, bro. Let's
Okay.
go
Do
ahead.
you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Uh, I'll go first because I think you have a better list than me. At
Okay. Okay. Go on.
okay, at number five, I'll go with the K-pop Demon Hunters. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
I
That
really,
that was my number five, and it got pushed out like towards the end.
okay. No, I really love K-pop Demon Hunters. Everything about that movie was just so fresh, and I mean, if you really loved, if you want to know our takes on it, go watch our K-pop Demon Hunters episode. But yeah, I really love that
Yeah.
one, the
If
soundtrack
I'll
and
try and
everything.
show the camera, I've got a calendar, the
There we
K-pop
go.
Demon calendar on my wall.
Yeah, bro. Like I thought that was a brilliant movie. Okay, number four. Oh man, this is gonna be like a. This is a weird pick. I really loved Highest to Lowest, Spike Lee's Highest to
Oh,
Lowest.
I didn't see that. I
It
heard a lot
was
about it though.
so like I watched it. A lot of people thought it was really boring, and I'm not gonna lie, the movie had a ton of transition scenes. Like I'm gonna say
Hmm.
5 minutes of the movie is just straight transitioning through the city with the panning, like drone or something like that. I won't lie, and the music can kind of get a little repetitive. Like there's this one musical key. Anytime there's a dramatic scene, it's like do 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 do, and it kind of can get repetitive. I'm like, okay, bro, you should have gotten more musical involvement in this. But I really love Denzel Washington's character arc because his character arc is unexpected. I think it's one of the greatest character arcs of any Spike Lee movie ever, bro. And I've watched all of them. Like
Oh, really?
highest to lowest is such a deep commentary about how the music scene works, especially in like rap and stuff like that, and just like how people can kind of be used as pawns. I don't want to get too spoilery into it. ASAP Rocky did a good job about it as well, but pretty much the movie was about what people are willing to do to be somebody in the music scene
Yeah.
and how that can rob you of your humanity. And the character arc that Denzel Washington's character goes through, absolute cinema. I came out of that movie, bro. Like, okay, I will say though, you're either gonna love the movie or think it's absolute trash and boring. Because I saw it with with Brie and her dad. They thought it was like the worst movie of all time. They thought it was
Really?
garbage. Yeah, they thought it sucked. I came out of that movie and I was like, that is cinema, dude. So Highest to
Yeah,
Lowest is my
yeah,
number four. Just the character did something that I did not expect. That was so refreshing, and
yeah.
that is
Okay.
why for me that movie, the themes of that movie, what it was talking about, how relevant it was also to like the music scene now. To me, Highest to Lowest was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. I loved it. Um, okay, now this is where people are gonna get a little mad. They're gonna be like, "What?" Um, number three is Sinners.
Oh, yes.
That's number three on my list, not number
What a
one.
film.
Uh, I think my biggest issue with Sinners is this is gonna be a hot take. I think the action was really bad. And
Really?
I know that's not what we should, because the movie was more of like a society commentary and historical commentary, all of which were brilliantly done. My only gripe, this is why it's number three. It's still one of the best movies I've ever seen. This is just on my list, number three. My only thing is, I know it's probably like Brie was saying, it's realistic to the black experience. My only thing is, it was kind of hopeless. Like once they bought the juke joint, they were damned either by the vampires or by the KKK. Like they were damned just because they wanted to enjoy themselves and have fun, which is a lot of the black experience, especially in America. So I get that, but I was kind of hoping, just the little kid in me. I don't know. This is a terrible. I'm gonna get ripped apart in the comments, but I'm gonna be honest. I just wish the action was more Blade esque. I wanted to see Michael B. Jordan like fight the vampires, and like he had like a like his knife here, and he's like this, and then he gets the knife and he's like that, and he's like boom, 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 boom. Like once the vampires entered the home or the juke joint, they were cooked. It was over from there, and it was a well written movie, incredible themes, incredible acting, incredible commentary on black history and black culture, especially the music scene of like the future and the
That
past.
is one of the most incredible scenes I've ever been in the cinema for. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like it felt like what we were seeing on screen was real. You just got absorbed by it, and it's like just I don't even have the word to describe the type of experience it was seeing that, especially on like an IMAX screen.
Mm-hmm. No, it was incredible, incredible, incredible movie. It's just number three on my list because I think the action could have been a little better.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion. All right, number two. I've been thinking about number one and number two. What are they like? Who? Because they keep, but I do have to stick to this.
Okay.
Number two. I kind of don't want to do it, but number two, I'm gonna put Avatar: Fire and Ash. Um,
Oh, I thought that would be number one.
I think the only issue with why it's not number one is because I think it is objectively a better movie than Superman. But the reason, and Superman is my number one, but the reason why it is not is because Avatar Fire and Ash, it didn't make me feel as emotional as Superman did.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Superman just beats it a bit. Even though the script and everything and the writing, there was especially that scene between Spider and Jake where Jake was considering killing. I think
Oh, yeah. That's a
killing
good scene.
Spider and then he stops and Neytiri saves him. Like Avatar Fire and Ash is a 9.9 out of 10. But to me, Superman's a 10 out of 10. And the reason why it's a little below Superman is because I do think Way of Water is better than Fire and Ash, just by a little bit, but I do think Way of
Yeah,
Water
I
is better.
agree.
And I do think that Way of Water pushed the Avatar franchise forward a little bit more versus Fire and Ash is kind of like not really kind like even though it was good and it was a throwback, it was kind of a rehash of the one and two. And the ending of the movie, it didn't kind of push the franchise forward versus Avatar 2 did. Quaritch surrendered. And just in a Way of Water, when Quaritch was like, stop, versus Neytiri was willing to kill Spider, I just thought that was a really interesting twist.
Hmm.
You didn't really get that in Fire and Ash, but you did get Varang and everything. Like, it is a brilliant movie. Fire and Ash is brilliant, but I just think it was kind of missing that pizzazz. It was missing like some shocking element, which is why it wasn't number one. For me, Superman was that. Superman was emotional. It made you feel. Um, he was very hopeful. The soundtrack of Superman is so good. Like, bro, my
Oh, it's
Apple
brilliant,
Music
isn't it?
top 10 was all David Fleming Superman soundtrack. Like, but I think the biggest thing is like Superman. You came out of that movie and you were genuinely happy and you were hopeful
Yeah.
and you just felt good, like because I feel like especially like you, bro, like you're such a good guy and the world will kind of beat us down for it. And I Superman was a movie where he's like, you know what, man, I am a nice guy and I'm not that dark, and you know what, I am going to make the world a better place and I am tired of nihilism. And I came out of that movie and the scene that made me like break down and start crying was, and it still does, is the flag scene with the Jaranpurian kids,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they're like Superman, Superman, and then you see the Justice League come in because they're inspired. The scene of Crypto helping Super, bro, that is the coolest scene ever. When Crypto flies up, bites off one of the Raptors' helmet, and then Superman punches him, and they're
Yeah,
flying,
so good.
and you hear the superhero cue, and Superman like is also challenged during that movie. Like he was brought here to help humanity. Nope, he was brought here to conquer humanity, but he still does the right thing. And he's just a human and just a guy, just like me and you. And he gets beat down too emotionally, but you can be in tune with your emotions and be positive. Like Superman, just even now, like Superman just gives me goosebumps. To me, Superman is one of the greatest superhero movies of all time.
And it kind of changed your opinion on the character in a way, because I know you weren't sort of a huge Superman fan before this, and
No,
you didn't really think much of the character, but now, like, clearly you're a big fan.
like bro, like I'm reading Superman now, and Absolute Superman is very not like Superman, like really, like because he's without the Kents, without Krypton, he's a teenager now. Like there's like, but at its core,
Mm,
Superman is about a person who genuinely just loves people, and he's like, can't we just get along? But he has the strength and the moral fiber to do something about it. He's not just a centrist
yeah.
either. Like, and to have Superman, my favorite scene in Superman is when Lois Lane is kind of being like Piers Morgan. Do you condemn
Oh, such a
Jarnanpur?
good scene.
And then Superman is just like, people were going to die. And he's like frustrated at Lois, like, bro, people were gonna die. What's
Yeah.
wrong with you? And the only thing that drives Superman is he wants to help people. When Superman saved the squirrel, best scene of 2025. That was the
So
best
good.
scene. When he was like getting sucked to the black hole, and then he goes like bro, Superman incredible. That's the best movie of 20. So
It
Superman
really rebuilt the image of Superman as well after, uh, all respect to Henry Cavill, his version of Superman. I don't know if
trash.
would you say it damaged the character, like it damaged people's perception of the character, and the opinion that people have of Superman now after this new film is what Superman actually should be.
Yeah, absolute Superman is what Henry Cavill super, because there's a lot of similarities between Absolute Superman and the Man of Steel verse and the Snyderverse. The difference is this is written well. Like no disrespect to Henry Cavill, because I know even he wanted the hopeful version of Superman, but David Cornsweet is Superman. When he saved the girl, when he,
Yeah.
like bro, like every and his theme, it's not just the classic John Williams theme, it's his own hopeful theme. Like Superman is about hope, bro. That's why Sinners before Fire and Ash was number two, because at the end of the day I felt like it was without hope. Fire and Ash did have hope, but ironically I felt like it kind of needed a little less for it to kind of stand out. But Superman, you felt like movies should make you feel something.
Oh, absolutely.
No movie on my list made me feel something as strongly as I did Superman. When I came out of that movie, I was genuinely like overcome with emotion, because I was like,
I remember you were like messaging me as soon as you got out of the film.
bro, like that movie just made me okay, your list, bro. Your list.
If you want to hear our full thoughts on Superman, we've got a full episode on it. Go back and listen to it. We had such a good time. I showed off my Superman poster, which is sat over there
Yeah.
now. Yeah, we only share one film in our top five.
Okay, all right, let's go.
Um, so number five for me is One Battle After Another,
Oh, that's okay.
which was I didn't expect to like it because I'd only seen one Paul Thomas Anderson movie before this, which was Licorice Pizza, which I didn't really. I don't know if I just didn't get it, but I didn't. I just didn't really like that film, and then went to see this, and I loved it. Like Leonardo DiCaprio is like at his best in this, and it's obviously relevant as well with like um, the political sort of tones in it,
Yeah.
and Sean Penn as the villain is one of the best like original villains in years, and Chase Infinity as well, her film debut, and she's gonna get nominated for like best actress.
Oh yeah.
Like this film is just packed full of incredible like career best performances. But the one thing that I really loved about it was the car chase scene at the end where they're going over the hills. Like that for me is the best car chase scene in cinema history because it doesn't need to be shot in a dead exciting way to make you feel the speed of how fast the cars are going.
Mm.
Somehow it builds tension and builds suspense whilst being a car chase scene, which I've never seen before, and that I just love that. Number four for me is one that only released in the UK first week of 2026, but its official release was in the US in 2025. So I'm still counting it as last year. Was Hamnet. Have you seen it?
Oh no, I did not. No.
Oh, do you know about it? Have you heard about it?
No.
Oh, okay, so it's Paul Mescal and Jesse Buckley,
Okay.
and Paul Mescal plays William Shakespeare, and
Oh.
it's based on a book about um, sort of their life and the inspiration for him writing Hamlet. So the names Hamnet and Hamlet were interchangeable in that area of England in the 1500s. They're like the same name. They had a son called Hamnet who died at 11 years old, and William Shakespeare processes his grief of that by writing Hamlet, which is one of the best. Like all of his plays are like some of the best works of like fiction ever. But Hamlet is obviously one of his best plays, and the film's about Jesse Buckley's character Agnes or Anne is the main character, and the way her performance it's one of the most real like and emotional performances I've seen like in a long time, and she's the most standout Best Actress winner in years. I think she's going to sweep the awards. Um, but in the film, you see how she handles her grief because she was brought up by her mum in like the forest, and people said she was raised by a forest witch and stuff like this. So the way she processes things is very different, and she's like on her own a lot of the time. But then there's a bit of a disconnect between her and Will, and then Will processes his grief by writing Hamlet, um, which is brilliant. But I cannot say enough good things about it, but I also don't want to say too much so that it spoils it. But go and
Okay.
watch that.
Okay.
But I felt like watching it, I felt like I had a weight on my chest for like the last 45 minutes. It's and when the film finally ended, I was like exhausted because of how heavy it is. But it's brilliant, and in England we learn a lot about Shakespeare. Like we have to study Shakespeare in high school. Like it's part of the curriculum because obviously he contributed so much to the English language. He invented like thousands of words and phrases that we use. So yeah, Hamnet, unbelievable, and I'm tempted to move it higher up, but I've only seen it once, so I might on the rewatch I might like it even more, but we'll see. Um, Number three is the only film that we share in our top fives, and it is in the exact same spot on both. It's Sinners.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I I don't really have anything negative to say about it. It's just the films above it to me are exceptional.
Okay.
Um, I loved Sinners, and seeing it like on the biggest screen possible in the IMAX was just an insane experience. Um, and Miles Caton, the young lad in it who plays Sammy, like similarly to Chase Infinity in One Battle After Another, that's his first film, and he delivers an unbelievable performance. And obviously Michael B. Jordan is great as technically three roles. He plays Smoke and he plays Stack, then he plays the vampire version as well.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like you, for the same reasons you said, it's just one of the best films of last year. Um, Number two for me is what a film I mentioned before briefly, 28 Years Later.
Hmm.
I hadn't seen any of the films in this franchise until last year. And when 28 Years Later was coming out, I thought, okay, I'll watch 28 Days Later. It's like, it's a British classic. It's Danny Boyle, it's Cillian Murphy. And that film, 28 Days Later, is just fantastic. It's one of the best zombie films I've ever seen. And similarly to The Walking Dead, it makes the humans the villains. The humans are the real danger, not the zombies. Also, the way it's shot, the original one was shot completely on a camcorder, and it just looks so grainy and like raw and real. But 28 years later, um, the, it was similarly to 28 Days. They filmed the way it's filmed is very interesting. They filmed it all on iPhones,
Mm.
so it looks very interesting. It looks stunning, but then the story as well. This young lad called Spike and Jodie Comer, who, in my opinion, is getting snubbed for Best Supporting Actress. She deserves an award for that movie. She's one of the main reasons the film struck a chord with me because this is slight spoiler territory
Hmm.
for people who haven't seen it, but she is suffering with cancer in the film, and she's forgetting things and she's getting really confused all the time. And obviously, my dad passed away from cancer last year, and it just felt so real to me because it was basically so identical to what he was going through, and it was so accurate, and the way she portrayed it was flawless, and that's one of the reasons it ranks so highly for me is because the emotional connection I have to it, as well as it being just a great zombie film. And watch The Bone Temple as well because that just is one of the most batshit crazy films I've ever seen.
Okay.
Um, Number one is a British movie which I don't know if it's got a lot of attention in the US, but it's gone to sweep at the BAFTAs. It's not getting any Oscar buzz, which is really surprising. It's called I Swear.
I
So
swear.
yeah, have you heard of
I'm googling it right now.
it? So it's a true story. It's the real life story of I think his name's John Davidson. He's a Scottish guy who has Tourette's syndrome, and he's one of the most like pivotal and important figures in like for raising awareness of Tourette's in the UK. And it's his story of growing up in this town in Scotland and being bullied and people not understanding and people treating him differently because he's got Tourette's. And it's just one of the most moving films I've seen in a long time. Um, and it has helped change oh, and raise awareness of Tourette's in the UK. That the film alone, and just his story is fantastic. He goes from this lad whose dad leaves because of his condition and never comes back, and his mum treats him badly. You know, he gets beaten up, he gets bullied, he tries to kill himself when he's like 12 years old, and he goes from that to receiving an MBE from the Queen. Like his story is just unbelievable. Um, and there's a really beautiful moment in the film which um, is again it's a bit of a I won't say it's a spoiler, but something happens near the end where he takes part in a clinical trial for a medical device that you wear on your wrist and it stops the ticks, and he manages to just like be calm and sit down with people and walk into quiet places and not be afraid of causing a scene because of his Tourette's. And actually, I managed to be a bit creative with it and write a story about that for work.
Oh,
Because if you
nice.
don't know, I'm a medical device journalist for MedTech Insights, and I wrote a story about it, and I'm actually set to interview people involved with that device at an upcoming trade show. Um, but that scene when he's wearing that and it just calms him down is one of the most beautiful scenes I think I've ever watched in a movie. So yeah, I Swear is my number one of the year. I was bawling my eyes out at that.
All right, I need to watch more like films, bro, because after your list was definitely better than mine. I was Your list was definitely better than mine.
No, you had that Spike. I've never seen a Spike Lee film to be honest, so
Oh man.
I need to. Which should I start with that one or should I start with something else?
Uh, a classic is always "Do the Right Thing." That shows Giancarlo Esposito
Oh yeah,
as the big glasses guy. He was kind of like a dummy in that movie. That shows his comedic range. That's a classic. My favorite one is Highest to Lowest. I just and I
really,
nobody agrees with me. Even Spike Lee fans, they'll be like, "What are you talking about?" Like, Highest to Lowest to me is the best character arc in any of his movies. But I would say Black Klansman is a good one. Um, yeah, that one is a great one actually. Black Klansman is excellent. Do the Right Thing. That's my personal favorite. Do the Right Thing. Highest to Lowest is a great one. Fantastic. Just Denzel acted unbelievable in that one.
hmm
You can't go wrong. But I would definitely maybe watch Highest to Lowest first, and if you like that, watch the others. It's very
yeah,
Spike Lee though, and I'm telling you that musical motif, the do 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 do, like it's gonna get repetitive. I won't lie to you, but yeah, bro, that's definitely check out Spike Lee movies. Those are always pretty good. I'm gonna watch Hamnet. That actually looks pretty good. I'm gonna watch that tonight actually.
yeah, it's so good. And watch. Did you watch One Battle After Another? Have you seen that?
I did watch it. I'm not gonna lie to you though. I fell asleep. It was late.
No.
It wasn't because it was boring though. It wasn't because it was
Yeah,
boring. I
it's a
was just
long film
tired.
as well. To be fair.
I was just tired when I watched it, so I have to watch it again. Um,
Yeah,
but no, I gotta watch. I swear, I gotta watch Hamnet for sure. 28 years later. But yeah,
some good
this
British films in there.
yeah. But this is the end of today's episode. Thank you guys for tuning in, watching. We talked about a lot today. We're going to be doing this weekly. That is our New Year's resolution for this year. We're also going to be uploading these episodes to the YouTube, but we're also going to be uploading specific sections to YouTube as well, so you guys don't miss out on anything. As always, our
Yep.
social media, we're on Nuff Said Podcast on TikTok and Instagram. We make a lot of funny reels as well as reacting to stuff in the moment. This year, Avengers Doomsday and Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be a forefront of what we talk about. We're going to be talking about independent cinema as well, as we just did with the list. I also want to talk about specific what's going on in the comic books right now. Like DC's Absolute Universe is on fire right now versus Marvel's Ultimate Universe, was on fire and it's kind of fizzling out.
And it is sizzled out a bit, yeah.
Yeah, but we'll talk about all of that this year, but we can't talk about that without you guys. So please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for tuning into another episode today on the Nuff Said Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.
Yeah, see you later.